All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is Brother Mayum coming at you from GMS Tampa Bay. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha HaKodash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and sincerity. Just like you. So I just wanted to do a quick testimonial video, kind of going into, the couple videos that the apostles have been going into about, being in health, and fasting and doing more intermittent fasting, and cutting out certain things out of our lives, that are going to benefit us, in the long run. Okay. And I just wanted to do a quick little testimonial video kind of on my journey the last, 2 years, so to say. It's been a little under 2 years, but, and that's pretty much the journey that I've had, health wise. Brothers that know me, brothers that are a lot more closer to me, that have known me for a long time, know that I come from, I was when I first came into this truth, I was really in shape. I was into the herbs and I had a somewhat of a decent diet to myself. I wasn't really eating too much breads, especially earlier in like 2012, 2013, 2014, around that time. I wasn't really even eating much bread at all. I was sticking more to proteins. At that time, that was just prior to me coming into the truth, but I was, I've always been kind of into that health thing, coming from a background of playing sports to a certain extent. But, there was a time period around about like 2017 where I started to fall off, and I got to the point to where in a couple years after, I gained a lot of weight. I wasn't really eating healthy. All right. I wasn't really taking care of myself. I wasn't exercising, making excuses, my back, because I was in a car accident, so now I have sciatic nerve damage in my back because I have two of my lower discs that are herniated, and they're pinching the nerve that goes down the left side of my leg, or the left leg, so I have a lot of pain, from time to time, especially when I was out of shape, and, pretty much, one day, I woke up, after a night of drinking, and it was drinking the some whiskeys, dark liquors, which at that time, and like I said, this was about 2 years ago, and around that time, I was into drinking the whiskeys, drinking dark, drinking the brown liquors, and basically I woke up one morning and I felt like my heart was pounding in my chest, and at that time I think I was I'm 31 now, so that had to be when I was either 28 going on 29, or I was already 29. I can't remember exactly what time of the year it was, but I didn't feel really good at all. And, I felt like there was something wrong. So I did a blood pressure test, and, my blood pressure was a little high, and I wasn't sure if it was because, of something else, or if I was just because I was nervous because of waking up that way. But nonetheless, the Spirit hopped on me to really want to change up, and kind of get back on my, get back in shape and really get back into, eating right and not drinking, as much as I was at that time. And, first thing I did, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem El Shai, was I cut out drinking brown liquor. Actually, for the first month, I actually cut out drinking, the strong drinks, cold turkey that first month. And, if I did drink anything, it was a little bit of yayan here and there. when I was amongst the brothers, fellowshipping. And within that first month, I noticed that I lost 10 pounds. I was I was up to, if I didn't mention, I got up to 260 pounds. Now, I am a little bit of a taller brother. I'm about 6'3". And I've always kind of been, a little bit more solid, but that's just, again, from my background, just the way my body's built. But, if you looked at me, you can tell, even at 260 pounds, it looked like I like to eat. Obviously, I had a big belly, you can tell it in my cheeks, and I'm going to put a picture up in the background, Lord's will, I can remember of what I looked like around that time, and you can tell that I was a little, I was pretty chunky, nonetheless, I knew that I was weighing a lot. I really couldn't. I had those little pull-up bar things. It's lucky. Just still trying to get over this infirmity, man. I don't know what the hell. I just keep waking up with a stuffed up nose. Just the last bits of it, just going, hasn't gone away yet. But you can tell in the picture that I'm, I was pretty chunky, man. I was fat. I was out of shape, drinking. And the Spirit hopped on me to, just stop drinking alcohol. And like I said, I noticed within that first month, I dropped 10 pounds, like right away. And, that kind of like was a big wake up call, to me, that, a lot of that weight gain that I had gained came from drinking alcohol, so it really put into perspective, my drinking, and I looked back at that moment and I realized that, I had been drinking a lot the last few years, and, that kind of made me, want to stop doing it, and even now, now I'm at the point to where I barely drink any strong liquor. And if I do, it's maybe one glass, I don't really drink before. Whereas before I would, I would drink almost, more than half a bottle to myself, of whatever it was that I had, and, that's obviously not a good thing. Scriptures talk about everything in moderation, but then, to kind of get myself into motivation after that, after stopping drinking, I started gave myself like a plank challenge, doing planks, and my mark was to hit 3 minutes, per rep of doing planks. And, I when I first started, man, I could barely make it into 1 minute, but within a month I got up to 3 minutes. Well, really it was way before a month, but, I would, if I was at work, I'd go to the bathroom, put some towels down, where my elbows would go, and I would do my reps in there, even at work, and when I would be home, and then to kind of really get myself motivated to start working out again, because I at the time, like I said, I weighed a lot. I was 260 pounds, that was the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life. And I'm normally, the way that I am now, and, I knew that the reason why I was having even more back problems, more than I really should be, even with the sciatic nerve damage, was because of my weight, so really to motivate myself to start losing weight so that I can actually start working out at a healthy way, to where I wasn't messing up my joints and anything like that. I kind of started changing up my diet. I started eating more. I started eating oatmeals in the morning. All right, and I really wouldn't eat lunch. I'd work through my lunch, and the oatmeal really kept me, feeling, it sustained me throughout the day. I'd mix it in with a tablespoon of peanut butter. I'd get a pretty decent brand of peanut butter, and mix it in with some oatmeal in the mornings, and that would pretty much be what I ate until I got home for dinner. And to further motivate myself to start. Once I got down to about 250, this was maybe about two months after I started, this journey of losing weight and kind of getting back in shape. I kind of started a little challenge, and I was actually motivated through the brothers in Wisconsin. I believe it was the Elder Atazawam, the beloved brother from up there, that started a push-up challenge. If he did 100, or you do 100, and that kind of motivated me to do something similar with brothers in the camps down here. So I started an Excel spreadsheet, put brothers' names on there, and just ask, if any brother wanted to participate, they could. They didn't have to, but anybody that wanted to participate, doing 100 push-ups for 30 days straight, and the goal was to hit, I think it was like 3,000 push-ups in the month, something along the lines of that. And that really kept me motivated to push hard, man, and really get back into shape. So I started doing the push-ups, even, like I said, going back, even when I was at work, started doing the push-ups, and I started to notice that I could tell that I was getting a lot stronger by the end of the month. I was feeling good. I was still around the 250, 245. I would fluctuate back and forth between there. So then, I kind of stayed around that frame, and then I went down for a little while to about 240. I was still keeping up with my same diet routine, where I was eating the oatmeal in the morning. And even customers of mine at that time, I worked at a marine dealership, and it's lucky that I'm ranting. I'm just kind of just going into. I'm gonna get Ciroc 38, here in a little bit, but I've always been taking my herbs, during this time, to help with building muscle and strengthening my muscle fibers, and really getting my hormones levels to I was taking a lot of the adaptogenic herbs, which are certain herbs that allow your body to cope with stress, not just from your mental stress, but environmental stresses, from heats and the chemicals in the air that produce certain toxins that enter into our bodies that kind of take us out of our hormonal balances. And such as maca's a really good one. And there's other various herbs that are adaptogenic herbs. So I've always been on those. I'm very disciplined in taking those. And brothers that know me know that, hey, every morning I wake up, I'm taking them. If there's a day that I don't take them in the mornings, something's wrong. I either woke up late and I had a rush, or something was happening that I didn't have the moment to grab them and take them. And I'd say about a year after I started this getting back into shape, I started doing a little bit more workouts. Like I said, I got down to about 240, and I felt like I was kind of stuck there. And at that time, I couldn't really afford to go to a gym, and it wasn't really that I couldn't afford it. It was that I wasn't budgeting right. And so I ended up getting a new job, working at a warehouse. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to. It was actually going to I was going to be making more money. And it was going to allow me to be more active, where, working at the marine dealership, there was times when I would be outside, but obviously, you're just walking around. But for the most part, I was sitting at a desk. So being out in this warehouse, this allowed me to be more active, lifting heavier boxes, bending down, getting my legs back in shape, which was really the big thing that I wanted to target, was building my legs back up, because that was obviously going to strengthen my back, and that's a big portion, which is why I was doing the planks, because your core is the main thing that you really want to work when you're getting into shape, because that's going to be your trunk, that's your stability, your foundation. And like I always tell brothers here, calisthenics is a foundational workout. You know, it's going to build your foundational muscle fibers and kind of give you the foundation to build upon when you want to then go into gaining size and go into more strength training. So, you know, I started working at this warehouse and I quickly dropped weight. You know, I first dropped down to 230, you know, and I can feel myself feeling more energetic. You know, I was getting up a lot more, you know, a lot earlier. You know, they had a cafeteria there that they made us pretty decent food. And, you know, so I was able to eat good meals while I was there. You know, I tried to eat as healthy as I could there. You know, there was obviously some days where, you know, they served fried chicken and stuff like that. You know, and I would partake in that. You know, obviously you can't take, you know, Jake and that chicken, man. It's a hard thing to snap, you know. But, you know, I kept, you know, pushing. And, you know, at that time I started going to the gym. Not as much because this that warehouse job was pretty demanding, obviously. And I didn't want to, you know, injure myself or bring myself to a point of exhaustion where I would then go to work and not perform at the level that I was required. So, you know, I ended up leaving that job and kind of doing some app-based jobs after that, you know, and that kind of opened up my window of time to be able to work out, you know. So I started to, you know, I kept that same morning schedule. I would wake up early in the mornings, go to the gym, started, you know, working out with a brother that, the brother Mike Allah, started working out with him a couple times, you know, in the mornings. And, you know, now I'm down to the point to where I'm at, within 2 years, I'm down to around 215. I haven't weighed myself in about a week or so, just because I've been having a lot going on, personally, you know, just things that I've been having to handle. But I weighed about 215, you know, and this is about the weight that I was, you know, back when I first came into the truth. You know, I was around this 215, you know, and this is about the weight that I'm supposed to be at, you know, where I'm decently toned up, you know, I feel good, you know, and, you know, call halal Yah Bashim Al Shai for giving me the spirit to be able to get back to this, you know, place health-wise where I feel better. And, you know, that's pretty much, you know, what I wanted to bring out, man, is, you know, this is, it's not something that's easy, you know, for you brothers that are wanting to get into shape, you know, brothers that are wanting to get back into that regimen of building yourself back up. You know, the scriptures talk about, you know, bodily exercise profiteth little. You know, well, you have to understand that the level of unhealthiness in this society that we consume, you know, you have to be on a certain level as far as your health goes. You know, you have to be somewhat more on point than just a little bit, you know, because, yeah, it only profits a little. But in this society, the diets, the things that we ingest, okay, it's not the best things out there in the world, man. You know, so we just have to do better. And as the scripture says, man, abhor not the physician. You know, ultimately, Yahweh Shai is the ultimate physician. And, you know, there's brothers with regimens, brothers with health tips. You know, the apostles come out with these videos, and brothers need to take heed to these things, man. Because the apostles know what they're talking about, man. You know, and like I said, you know, this is a testimony of mine that I can say that what the apostles are saying, you know, it works, because that's exactly what I've been doing the last couple years, you know. So, hey, you know, I have to go ahead and get to work. You know, Lord's Withers was edifying. So lucky I wasn't able to bring out the scriptures in Sirach chapter 38. But, you know, for those of you that haven't read it, read Sirach chapter 38 and just go from there, man. You know, pretty much the first, like, I'd say 10 verses or so. But with that, you know, I want to give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Machaha Kodash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, the great millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and its truth in sincerity. With that, I say shalom.